Hello everyone, we're back with Arcturian philosophy. Now, I thought of a different topic other than identifying, am I a reptilian? Or biologically, am I a reptilian regardless of what kind of starseed I might be? I'm going to title this video very simple, How to Win in a Psychic or otherwise battle against reptilians or against a particular reptilian. Now, this first of all depends on, as Lacerda, also go to Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas. I'm Lacerda, your photographer. Yeah, look that up, guys. What Lacerda says is depending on the strength of the sending reptilian. So first you have to assess, okay, who am I dealing with here? Is this somebody that's real new and is low down on the pyramid? Remember, they use a similar kind of pyramidal structure, or diamond-looking structure. Figure out, okay, how high-ranking is this thing? Now, what's inside of my mother, what's possessed my mother, is high-ranking. I can tell. It's not especially adept at doing things because it didn't seem to take total possession of her until around the end of August, and it didn't know, how it gave birth. It didn't know how my mom gave birth to me. You could completely tell it was something else inhabiting my mother's body. But I could tell quickly, wait, compared to the other ones, the other reptilians here, you're a strong one. Okay, I need to figure out just what am I dealing with first. Then the second thing, after you assess, okay, to what degree of difficulty am I dealing with, then Cryon's big trick for this, what saved my life, he said, Krista, this is a game of Survivor, just like your TV show Survivor. Outwit, outstand, outlast, and outlast is the most important. Apparently, you see, reptilians have very little patience. They're not very patient creatures by nature. And if you simply outlast them, that alone is enough to get them to stop attacking you, or it's enough for you to get an opening if you need to eliminate the problem or terminate the problem. But remember, we do that stuff as a last resort, guys. We prefer to just have them in a different space, not actively going and terminating them. That's not an Arcturian mindset at all. So, okay, first, let's take outwit. Most people will notice, as my own brother said. My brother, he worded this very carefully, but he said, no, Krista, remember, my brother is an Arcturian starseed who was enslaved. And he said, well, Krista, if somebody is trying to kill you and is, like, inside of our mother, they're really stupid, is what he said. And he said, but there can't be, that's just bullshit, that can't be true. But if there were somebody inside of our mother trying to kill you, at least it's really stupid. So, particularly if you're an Arcturian and you have to go up against a reptilian that's your own parent, use your intellect to your advantage. With any reptilian, usually your intellect will be your advantage. Now, that changes when you get to the stupid Yael and Greys. They are like supercomputer intellect, so that is where going back into the feeling mode, like more like reptilians, more feeling, that is where you end up beating them. Going in the reverse direction. But this is more about reptilians. So, say, okay, what I've had to go through is I would walk outside, and at first they were outright trying to assassinate me by trying to expose me to different chemicals, or trying to put things in my mail, or drop weird cursed objects on me, or things that contained bacteria on me that would give me flesh-eating bacteria. Very strange. Different modalities. You could tell that whatever the things were super engineered to some degree, or very carefully, strategically engineered for situations like this with a pesky starseed that just wouldn't die. You see, the way you can actually outlast them is just what I said, outlast them. You just do not give up, period. Even when you think that you can't go on. Even if you're pretty sure that you're gonna die, keep the mentality that I never give up. I will never, ever, ever give up. I will never be a slave. I will never, ever give in to this. I am sovereign. I am that I am. Remember, that phrase is enough to deflect a lot of the ones that aren't as high up. That will deflect many of them simply by saying, I am that I am. And then Cryon also says this, I am that I shall be, or basically explaining, the concept he says is, yeah, I am that I am. You can be while being enslaved, or you can be while being free. So the idea is to be while being free and alive. So I am that I shall be, that I shall live. You could also say it that way. Now, one of the biggest ones, remember, Jesus Christ was one of the most advanced ascended masters. Basically, he was the most ascended master to ever walk on this planet. And any ascended master will be able to help you with this, but because it came down to, my life, I asked, how do I survive? And the answer was Archangel Michael and Jesus. Those were the answers, and plus Cryon. And Cryon would be the one saying that. Ask for Jesus and ask for the Archangel Michael, and they will protect you in this circumstance here. Now, this could differ from person to person. So whatever ascended master that you resonate with, maybe it's Buddha, who knows? Maybe it's someone else. Whatever ascended master, or perhaps whatever angels, maybe you're fond of Lyrans, so I have Cryon the Blue Lyran hanging out with me. Maybe you ask for your Arcturian family to help you, or ask them for advice, and they tell you, chant the name Sananda, because that could be considered synonymous with Jesus. Go with what you are specifically told to do in your circumstance, but while you're asking, what do I do, you have to remember that there are basically the other entities trying to hack into the signal. So if you could see someone's head for this, I don't actually see it with my eyes open, but what it looks like is just a bunch of stuff coming out at all angles like this from the top of a person's head, as if things are trying to come in like that. What it looks like. And so when you've got that level of people trying to infiltrate, your personal soul stream, you have to be careful. So you might get weird information that's just flat out wrong because someone's trying to hack into your system, your personal grid system. So if you focus on your heart chakras and then focus upward to the third eye, focus on a message that you get, and then focus it at your heart, and then upward to your third eye. That's what Cryon told me to do. When I was getting so many mixed, weird messages, and I knew half of it wasn't real, I knew that a lot of it was being, quote, hijacked into my soul stream or consciousness. And he said, just what you do is all of this is technically you. So you are going to know what is actually right because it's you. So feel for you, heart, hear you. That's what they want to try and break and steal from you, which you still have. So feel for it there, you, and you, your heart, and then feel almost as if it were a light or a cord or something. This is kind of like the Metatron meditation, except backwards. So you feel for heart and then feel upwards like a golden cord or something, or golden light up to your third eye, and then attempt to sense within yourself, without not like, oh, what am I getting told to do? Not like that. Sense here and then upward and feel, okay, this thing that I heard, is this right or not? Is this right or not? And if it's right or not for you, you will usually get your answer much more easily that way. At least that's how it worked with me, and it seems like that's how I fooled quite a bit of reptilians, or got around a lot of whatever they were doing that way. Now, outwit. Like I said, outwit. You will be very, if you haven't been in a battle with a bunch of reptilians yet, you will be very surprised at how just darn stupid these guys seem. It's bizarre. It's as if, was your evolution stunted on purpose or something? Did someone do this to you? It really makes no sense. Is it programmed into you? What is it? I feel like walking up to them and saying, "Excuse me, but why are you so stupid? I just don't understand." It's not like it's funny. It's like, what? It's just like, huh? Like, what happened is the concept. But regardless, if they're trying to murder you, you don't have time to contemplate, why are you so stupid? Instead, you have to use it to your advantage. And you'll see that's very easy to use to your advantage. That's why they take us as intellectual slaves. Because as humans, we're just way smarter than they are by nature, apparently. Or for some reason, we are smarter than they are. So they use us to create half of their prison systems for us, which is really stupid. And the people who are actually doing it even know that they're doing it, and some of them are complicit with it, and some of them are enslaved or threatened or told, like David Icke's CIA patch thing, that's real. Yeah, it is. Said if you don't come back to work, well, you're not going to get another one of those patches, and you're going to die a slow, agonizing death. But there is a way to fix that, completely a way to fix that, and the material, like inside the patch, the little substance said, it's a great trick of the light. And it talked to me as if as if I knew exactly what to do. And what's funny is that I do know exactly what to do after what it said. But well, I don't think I've run into anybody in the FBI or CIA overtly saying, "Hello, I am in the CIA, please help me." But I don't think anybody would do that based on how tapped everything is around here. So, you'll notice things like, okay, they'll, knock on stuff, and the knocking on something could correspond to trying to harm you or break a bone. You'll notice, you see, that they're trying to scare you. You have to create the reality for yourself. So if you think, oh, them coughing is giving me a cold, it will. Something that I've done is go to people and say, oh, you appear to be coughing for no reason. And the reason I say they're kind of stupid about this is, like, I've done this several times, and it's like they don't get it. You'll notice you might have the same attacks tried on you, even though it's clear that they don't work anymore. You have to adapt. You very much have to adapt. And for me, for example, that meant peeing in a trash can, hoarding different food, hiding things in different places, running around my house like a banshee, looking through every single thing I had, every single mineral, and trying to figure out how to use its healing properties to save my life. When they kind of go all out on you and you haven't experienced it before, it is very scary and it is very intimidating. But the biggest thing is to just remember the I am that I am phrase. That reinforces your heart chakra right there. I am that I am, as in I am a sovereign entity and you can't take me, you can't have me. Then calling upon the name of Jesus Christ. And when you do this, when you say, Jesus Christ, it can't be like, oh my God, these gray things are in the room. Jesus, help. I've actually experienced sort of things like that where Jesus does help in those circumstances too. But when you start, you really should be kind of like this. Like, in the name of the Lord Jesus Christ. And try to feel it here, see, at the heart chakra area. In the name of the Lord Jesus Christ, I cast you out, Satan. Just like the Bible, literally, just like the Bible. When you get to the higher level entities, like what's inside my mom, and you say that, it doesn't work nearly as well. That's where more advanced kind of measures have to be taken, unfortunately. But for most issues, if you are thinking of Jesus Christ, the Pleiadian, or half Pleiadian, and you are saying, "Begone, Satan, get behind me, Satan," as in the Bible, "Get behind me, Satan," or I stand at the door and knock, that's actually Satan talking. And how do I know? Well, I figured that out because I could tell while reading the Bible, the channeling of it. But then also, people would try to do this. They would knock at the door. And I would say, "I only answer the door for the light." And they would knock again, and I would say, "I only answer the door for the light. Who are you?" And the guy would say, HOA, and I would say, "What is that?" "I only answer the door for the light." And he said, "Homeowners Association." And I said, "Okay, what do you have to say?" "I only answer the door for the light." He walked away. And then I came out on this very balcony. The guy was right around there in the parking lot. And I said, "You are the one who walked away. I asked you what your business was." But, you see, I didn't fall for whatever stupid little trap. Also, remember, locked and unlocked doors make a difference according to, their system. The idea, apparently, it seems like, of locking a door is like locking a spirit inside of a sacred space or inside a space period. But I've noticed that I still get like string dropped on me and stuff, but now it seems like it's the Yael doing that because they've realized that, oh, well, she's way too smart for the Reptilians. Whoops. It looks like we're going to have to handle her. Except, actually, I'm going to handle you guys. Yeah, you guys? You Yaels? Yeah, I'm going to handle you. And then eventually I'm gonna make a video winning a fight with a Yael, but that's way more complicated. So as I throw Shakespeare on the ground, we will talk about first just the Reptilians because they're just so much more. They're a lot easier to beat, basically, than it seems like with the Yael, even though they work together. So, well, what you can expect, basically, is once you get into some kind of showdown with a Reptilian and you win, then that's where the Yael decide to get involved. The Yael meaning gray human type hybrids. I should probably draw what one looks like for if people are confused. And they have these little weird Yoda ears. From the ones that I've seen, the Yael, they're about the same height as humans, and have the differently kind of shaped head with ears, but a little bit more humanoid looking. But still, they're pretty darned crazy. So they're I mean, like I was already just saying, they're not exactly nice. They're not even nice to their own people. They follow around, implant, threaten, and abuse their own children, and it's sadistic, and it should stop, or they should just go somewhere else if they're going to be stupid. Which is what they're going to have to do, unless they're going to go along with the ascension concept, which does not involve having sex with Satan, and does not involve selling your soul, and does not involve enslaving anything for the idiots who are the hackers watching. Yeah. Okay, so when you're first confronted with some of the things that Reptilians do, they are highly psychic. So depending on how strong the different ones are, remember that you have to kind of invite them in for them to be able to do things to you. For me, it was necessary because I had to stop a nuclear war from going on. I had to be involved with them. So my mission actually involves them. For people who are watching this thinking, oh, she drew that into her reality. Well, I work on the Ashtar Command. It's kind of in the job description. That was what I got told. I said, hey guys, I don't like being in the middle of Alien versus Predator here. I don't exactly enjoy this. And they said, well, this is basically what you signed up for, you know. This is, you don't have to do it, but I mean, do you remember any of this? Do you remember anything? You calculated all of this. You did all of this, and everything is actually going pretty much along what you planned. So we would suggest that you continue with this. I mean, unless you could go back to your life before, but with what's happening to your planet, it's not going to be like the life you had before, ever. And so when I realized that, I knew, okay, yeah, definitely, I have to fight for the world that I live on. Now, let's say what happened with me. You see, they used triggers. Everybody has some kind of trigger that is ingrained. That you're probably not aware of, and that people have to slowly become aware of so that they stop responding to them. And this could be a strange fetish, pulling out hair, picking at your skin, anything that would be considered abnormal and unhealthy, that is an odd sort of fetish or something. That's a reptilian doing that to you. It's not really you. And so, actually, as soon as people figure that out, it's as soon as I figured those things out, it was much easier to stop doing those things because I realized, wait a minute, this isn't even me thinking. This is not even me thinking. But the way I was able to begin to identify pushes was because I was hit with a very large push. After I was taking so many photographs of the chemtrails in this area. One plane came by, they targeted me somehow, and I don't know what exactly the technology was, but very suddenly I felt sick, very sick, and came inside, wasn't even half conscious, and it wasn't even really me doing it, but I was pulling out all of my eyebrows for no apparent reason, and I was awake. I was quasi-aware and awake. You see, this is what will happen if you're hit with a big push like that, and you've never experienced it before. And then I remember lying down, passing out, waking up, looking in the mirror, and saying, "Oh my God!" And then suddenly, we actually will have it here, screw tape. Suddenly, the thought in my head was, "Krista, go get the screw tape letters." What they did was just like what's in the screw tape letters. And oh, what did I not know about the screw tape letters with the preface to the 1961 edition in here, which is where C.S. Lewis outright says I was a traitor to the Christian faith. I wasn't even a Christian the whole time, basically. This book, the Screw Tape Letters, is about a senior demon talking to a less experienced demon about tempting a human. Now let me get it in here. What C.S. Lewis says is, I got my idea for this idea of, spiritual cannibalism or of consuming energy off of someone from David Lindsay's Neglected Voyage to Arcturus, and we're going to show it up here so everybody can see it. See C.S. Lewis, and he knew about the New World Order. He knew about all of it. And he lets it all out in this book that I'm holding here. So, he died also 2 years later after he wrote this. See, David, the horrible scenes of absorbing in David Lindsay's Neglected Voyage to, right there, Arcturus. He even mentions the book again in this paragraph here. So everybody, all the Christians out there, yeah, screw tape. C.S. Lewis was an infiltrator. Yeah, C.S. Lewis was a total infiltrator to faith, but I'm gonna make a video about that. They tried to delete the video that I made about that, but I'll make a better one then. So with reptilians, the outlast part, they delete your stuff on your phone, they take your phone, they do stuff to you. Well, you know what? You say, I don't care. I don't care. I am going to keep on going through this. You see, what they want you to do is shrink into a corner, into a little fearful ball. That way they can feed off of you and ultimately kill you. If you hold your fist up in the air and say, nope, I am still going to power through this. I'm going to do this. I'm going to win. I win. I win. I win. That outlasting, where Cryon says the outlast part is the most important. Even if you end up with broken bones or something, if you can outlast them, that is one of the keys to winning, because they just can't take it, apparently, when they're having to, psychically battle someone for so long. It's they only like doing that if they can feed. And if they can't feed off of you, then it's a big tax on their patience, and they're not very patient creatures. And so that way you use your intellect against their propensity for sudden emotion. See, they're under the grip of their lower chakras most of the time. So sex, survival, and things of that nature. And they love gambling or whatever. So when you're subjected to all of the different things that they can do, like making weird little poppets out of string or crystals or whatever the heck, at you and throwing them at you or putting them there or whatever, you might find at first if you touch it, it burns your skin or does something. So take a piece of cloth and pick it up. So you see, you have to use your head. For most of it, and a lot of it, it's really simple, especially if you're a starseed and you're being attacked this way. So remember that while you're sitting on a toilet, your thoughts are very easily monitored because you're right over water. Also, it's very easy to attempt to do something to you while you're sitting on a toilet, because toilets are part of programming. So don't think anything important while you're on a toilet. I was told that repeatedly when I was in the prison. I'd be thinking, and I would be told immediately, Krista, stop thinking. You're sitting on a toilet. They can hear way better because you're on a toilet. Also, mirrors. They use mirrors as portals, or they will look into a mirror and they will be able to see what you are doing if you are in the span of a mirror or some reflective object. But mirrors work the best. It's the easiest for them to use. They also carry their mirrors around to do weird magic. Now, one thing I can figure out is that you hold up a mirror to your eyes and do something. Whether it's think something or think a series of numbers. Hebrew numerology is something that will help anyone battling reptilians. The numerology saying something 3 times over. You can say, you call upon the name of Christ 3 times over. You can state I am 3 times over. And what I like even better, like what Cryon says, is do it 3 times over and 3 pairs of 3. So you're saying it 9 times in 3 little chunks of 3. And the 9 is like a completion. That's what it symbolizes in numerology. So we've got lots of interesting, how do I put this? Interesting things going on in the world right now. I've not really been watching the telescreen to figure out what they are exactly. But nobody else has messed with my oils yet. Fortunately, they screwed with one that I did not care about exactly. That's good. Now, I should explain that. They use a curse that goes in water molecules. I can tell it's in water and types of liquid, where it puts cloudy things, some sort of cloudy particle along with pubic hair. Yeah, pubic hair. They were making fun of me in the prison. The men, too, saying, yeah, their pubic hair suddenly appearing in my water, and in cups of water and things like that. And a lot of this has to do with your eyes. So that if you say they try to do something to your water, but you're looking away, most of the time, there's nothing wrong with the water until you look down at it, and then suddenly it would, manifest in front of you to have specks in it. This happened to me several times, and I realized, yeah, I know I'm creating my own reality, but how am I supposed to not look at this stuff if I'm drinking it? Or something like that. But what I would do, there are many ways to get around this, but what I would do is I would simply dump the water out and get more. They did it, dump the water out, get more, dump the water out, get more. And I would say, we can play this game all day, guys. We can. And one person, I practically threw the water at them. You can also do that if you're in a situation where people are very nonviolent and you really want to make a statement. Take their cursed water that's got specks and crap in it and dump it on one of their heads. Yeah, or like a girl who's got champagne and has been insulted by a man, throw it in their face. That is what I will do. Yeah, all of you that are watching who are reptilians who are assigned to spy on me like this, I will throw your cursed stuff in your face. Like the woman from Nob Hill over there. Instead of throw it in the trash can, next time I will open it and I will dump it all over whoever curses any of my possessions. And they are my possessions because I am doing the world an extremely great service, and you will deal with the fact that your monetary system is about to collapse. Okay? Now, sorry guys, you see, most of the people that watch these videos, first, like I'm recording this right now on a phone, no one's seeing it on YouTube right now, but there are people seeing it, you see. There are people that are hacked into the phone watching it on a remote screen, and there are people that can almost watch it in their heads, in a way. There are also people that can go out of body, almost like they're watching behind my shoulder or something like that. So when it comes to that, yeah, you guys, next time you do that, I'm just waiting for somebody to throw that cursed oil, throw it in their face. Yeah, I'm just waiting for that. You do something to me, oh yeah. Now, one bit of advice actually that I do have, ironically, from Yael, is scaring them makes them start to stop. Now, what you have to remember is that they brought you into their reality for a reason. This was the other way I was able to get out of the prison. I said, well, you're saying this is all me. Do you not understand that this is also all your reality as well? And so you have drawn me here into your reality because you are living in darkness. Clearly, all of you here wanted to commit suicide, and that is why you were brought to this place. So, obviously, you have drawn me here into your reality to help teach you that you don't need to commit suicide, and to teach you about these things. And, oh, they really hated it when I would start saying that, when I would take their own logic and spin it around on them, and I would also draw lots of stuff about Socrates while I was in there. Socrates the fish. I would draw Socrates the fish, because I had a fish named Socrates when I was a young girl, or I named the fish Socrates. But very quickly, the other fish began to bite at Socrates the fish. And Socrates was a very different fish. He would come up to the bowl, and he would look at you like this, and he would recognize people. He would know when I was there. He would know if it was my brother. He would know if he was being fed or not. He would look out of the fishbowl constantly, out of the tank, as if he was trying to see the world beyond. And so I named him Socrates, because it just seemed to fit. But then the other fish started to slowly kill him. And one day I came home from school to greet Socrates, and he wasn't there. and I just knew he was dead. And sure enough, I look around on the bottom and I see his little body, little yellow body out lying there, little Socrates the fish. And so I drew, when I was imprisoned, I drew a picture that, right, it's not a very good one. I could do a way better one now in pastel, of that type of fish. And I wrote Socrates 2014 on it, because this particular fish has a long snout and a very high fin, high dorsal fin, like a shark almost. And so on that kind of shark-looking dorsal fin, I wrote Socrates 2014. So that kind of logic, okay, like Socrates type logic, taking their own teachings and basically spinning them around. That is one way to get around a lot of it. Now you'll notice that the longer you hold out, the more tired they get. And what they were doing with me is people would get so tired trying to do things to me, and I would keep on healing, that they would switch people out. They would switch them out on a weekly basis, or bi-weekly basis even, to attempt to get fresh people in who hadn't had to deal with my light energy constantly, to attempt to attack me, or people who hadn't really seen how I was literally ministering in there like Jesus in a prison to them. So remember the outwit, outstand. Now outstand, basically standing up to temptation. Different things would be done to me in the Reptilian prison, John Muir Medical Center, Concord, California, the Behavioral Health Center, which is a reptilian prison. They would do things like attempt to stimulate hunger in my body, and so I would feel very hungry. But then I would go to lunch or something, and they would clearly have poisoned my food, or it would be normal. Then I would open it, other people would start looking at it and saying weird combinations of numbers, and suddenly you would see weird specks all over it and all kinds of stuff. And I had to half starve myself in the beginning because of that, and I would simply have to put the lid back down on the food and say, man does not live on bread alone, but only that which comes from the living God. Because I was brainwashed into Christianity, they didn't. I think the reptilians who were watching me, they didn't think that all of that brainwashing would actually come in handy when it came to the gospel. So I would have to sit there and say, man does not live on bread alone, but only that which comes from the living God. And I began to feel, actually, I think how Jesus felt when you have not eaten in God knows how long, and you know that if you eat, you will be poisoned by it, or get Ebola from it, or something. And with that power of outlasting, what happened was, slowly but surely, they simply stopped. They stopped trying to constantly poison my food. Now, they would still do it, but it wouldn't be constant. It would be enough. It would be enough so that I would have to be on my toes all the time, but I would still be able to get enough food in me before they would hex it, so that I could eat enough, maybe several bites of something, then it would get hexed, and then I would have to put it away, so I could still manage to stay alive on very small amounts of food. Or, this is really funny, what happened when I finally figured out that I could heal myself with sound and tone. I began to chant in the room that I was in with the door closed, and they knew that they had been starving me, basically. So, finally, as I'm in there, I'm healing myself of the different fractures that they were trying to cause in my bones, different respiratory issues. I was doing that kind of chanting, like a sounding kind of Native. It sounds kind of Native American, actually. I didn't know what it was exactly. But the lady, one of the ladies, one of the charge nurses, who was a reptilian in disguise, completely a reptilian in disguise, she came in and she gave me 2 Nutri-Grain bars. And I thought, oh my gosh, that actually affected you guys? I was just trying to heal myself. Oh, cool. And as I held them, I could feel that they were not poisoned, that she actually was trying to get me to just shut up, because they couldn't stand the light that I was pulling in. Remember, the darkness cannot stand the light. So when you call upon the light in such a powerful fashion, especially with the name of Jesus Christ, and you mean it, you have to really mean it. That is something that is very hard to beat. Now with the police, when you get to the level kind of like what I'm dealing with, you end up hitting reptilian police. And that will be like people that are in the SWAT teams and things like that. And I have a little bit of an advantage because I have an uncle-in-law, who retired early from the police force and died of Parkinson's disease. But what he told me is, Krista, I retired from the force because of the sick, sadistic stuff that was going on, and I said no. But then after I retired, all this stuff started happening to me, and I didn't know. I didn't know it was them, but that like Parkinson's, nervous disorders, HARP, most commonly affects people via seizures and nervous disorders, things like that. And he said that I was slowly assassinated. They watched me die. And I'm not going to let the same thing happen to you. So what he told me, say, for dealing with reptilian police, he would actually, in one confrontation, he stood there and he said, Krista, don't make them mad. Don't get yourself into contempt of cop. Which just means you pissed off the police officer. You didn't do anything wrong. You just pissed the person off. He said, he told me, look, the police, they go through so much BS all the time, no matter if they're reptilian or human, that if you say something the wrong way or look at them the wrong way and they're in a bad mood, they could end up doing something like jumping the gun, like shooting, like the shootings on the East Coast. Someone halt, and someone doesn't hear them because they got headphones, and suddenly they get shot. Yeah, contempt of cop. Basically, the cop being pissed off and taking it out on whoever they're trying to talk to. That's what contempt of cop is. And I realized I heard of that on a show also, and I was like, oh, okay. So with the reptilian police, all police forces are infiltrated now. All of them are reptilian or reptilian controlled somehow. So with the police, they have far more training in this stuff. And the best thing, they'll actually make fun of you when you say things like, I only do that which is the light love source. Now, what you have to do with the police, I learned this when they fake 5150'd me. And I say fake because 7 hours later, like as soon as they processed everything at the hospital, which was also reptilian controlled, they looked at it and they said, oh, this is stupid. Let's send you back home for free. Which was what I intended, which was what happened. And at the same time, ended up meeting someone who had been at that Concord prison, and she looked at me and she said, she was ready to get out, you could say, but didn't really know what was going on, was being attacked psychically so much, was being, told to kill herself and things of that nature. And part of the reason that they let me go was because they realized that I was helping her so much. That I was helping someone break out. But one of the people had real fangs, lower fangs, like real looking fangs. And so I heard, Krista, you have to take this opening to get out. We'll watch over this girl. You have to get out. So when you've got reptilian police, basically, think of it as like a 3-year-old with a loaded gun. I'm going to take that analogy from Mary Rodwell. The reptilian police are like 3-year-olds with loaded guns. So and tasers. So what you have to do is you have to approach them with, for one, a powerful vibration of nonviolence. And that is a stance that is firm, where your hands can be seen. Now, cops instinctively get scared if your hands are somewhere they can't see them. Even if you're just a normal person, you wouldn't know any better. But they're used to people pulling out guns and all kinds of things, according to my dead uncle. So he says, Krista, with the cops, keep your hands where they can see them. Always keep your hands where the cops can see them. Do not make any fast movements. Speak in a slow, clear, calm voice. Even if you were really mad, and that's why the police got called. As soon as the police are there, he's saying, remember their dash cams. If they are doing something that is highly abusive to you, carefully walk yourself in front of their car, because their dash cam will catch it, and it has audio. Also, they wear audio right on them. Right on their badges. Above that, they wear wiretaps, because I saw them there. And I said, oh, hey, yeah, this for the microphone. And they would even look down and nod. So, yes. And no matter what actually happens, even if you're put, into a police car, even if you are arrested like the Apostle Paul, and this is what's going on, and you are falsely accused, you simply, now my eyes are drawn to Sacred Heart of Jesus. O Sacred Heart of Jesus, who said, ask and you shall receive. I beg that by the ardent flames of love that kindle your heart, you hear my prayer, O Jesus. Grant me the grace I ask, and pour your blessings and mercy over me, that I may be made worthy of your divine Sacred Heart. Amen. Now, I keep getting told, scratch the being made worthy part, because you already are worthy. That's the deception. You were not born in sin. Original sin does not exist. You were not born as some sort of horrible sinner. You were born, as Christ says, be perfect, for I am perfect. Be perfect, for I am perfect. He means it literally. He means it literally. And how I can say that? It's because it kept me alive. When I felt that, and I felt, okay, I'm going to be perfect in this prison because Jesus says so. Be perfect, for I am perfect. And we are of him. We are of the love light source. We are of the Pleiadians. We are of all of these extraterrestrial races. Be perfect, for I am perfect. Don't let something tell you that you're unworthy. Don't let something tell you that you've made all these mistakes. What they were trying to do to me is they were trying to say, oh, see all this horrible stuff that you've done? But see, now I look back at that and I think, well, yeah, there were bad things that I've done, but I didn't make slaves make my ibogaine. I didn't watch as people suffered in withdrawal while you stood there and did nothing. I didn't agree to go along with some of the sickest plots of world domination one could imagine. And you are telling me that I am a bad person. That doesn't work, Watson. So yeah, you're telling me that I'm a bad person and I stopped the nukes from going off? Yeah, 3 times. 3 times just to be funny. That's a joke for reptilians. See, they do this poltergeist type thing because it's biologically ingrained into them, like biological triggers, to attempt to alert each other of different things, or to, like I've said before, if there's a reptilian or a human who's trying to break out of something, break out of their system, and you make a statement, and that statement is, say, a lie, you'll suddenly tap something, and that will tip them off. once you get sucked into the programming. But see, I would notice myself doing that, but I would think, you know what, that doesn't matter. That doesn't matter because I have my heart, I have my love light source, I have my love light source in its perfect dynamic. I have it still, and you're not getting it. I have it, and I'm keeping it, no matter what. And when you have that kind of mentality, you become very, very, very hard to kill. Like from Avatar again. You're on Pandora. And these creatures, they are very hard to kill. That's like how you become. Once you start to, if you're subjected to this stuff, like you're in a reptilian prison or something like I was, you start to develop that kind of unkillable type body structure. Your body actually has to change and transmute. Now, a lot of you maybe you've gone through having your bones half broken on you, or joints pulled out of place, or them trying to do things like that to you. It's in all of the music where they talk about it, all of the popular music. So breaking bones is like one of their standard MOs. Modus operandi, one of their methods, they're one of their favorite methods of doing stuff to you. That and cancer, too. Cancer of whatever kind. Thyroid and lung, I've noticed, seem to be two of their favorite cancer places. But you see, one thing that, especially if you know your star family, even if you don't think that those up in the stars, especially the Ashtar Command, has not been noticing this whole bone breaking concept. You see, the reason that they try to break bones is because of what I was told, what Ashtar told me, is the reason they're trying to break your bones is because in the recrystallization process of your body, as your body transmutes and becomes something of a combination of a carbon silicon based structure that starts in the energetic body, but then as it manifests, the first place it begins to manifest is in your bone structure, in your skeleton, in your skeletal structure. And if they're breaking it, well, then obviously that makes it harder to form, right? And I said, well, yeah, that makes sense. But what I ended up getting told at the reptilian healer guy on the Ashtar Command by myself, Andromeda, Professor Andromeda, she said, we have a new process. But that was all she would say. We have a new process. So basically what they are doing is they are using this thing that they will do, trying to break your bones. Your family in the stars, and the Ashtar Command, I know specifically, probably other places too, other different fleets and such, because they do all collaborate together. When they attempt to do this to your bones, they are aware up there of, okay, our ground person is under duress, okay, and they have a method now of using the breaking and the fracturing that they're doing of catalyzing the recrystallization process. Now, anybody could tell you that, oh, your bones breaking could catalyze you to start healing yourself, but you see what they're telling me, yeah, that would be true. A human would know to heal itself, but a human wouldn't know to make its bones like a diamond or something, or something like quartz. They wouldn't know that exactly, and that's where we've started stepping in with this to help with the process with recrystallizing everything. Sorry guys, I had to go for a second there because someone was on the phone. But, see, here's what's going on. If you're being subject to the bone breaking, what they're doing up in the stars, extra-dimensionally, is using that to create the recrystallization process of the human bone structure for those of us that are being subjected to it or have been subjected to it. So the picture that he shows me is, you remember you felt in your bone, like in your femur, you felt a crack of some type there, right? And I said, yeah, I felt that, like not like my not like my leg was going to break, but like they'd done something to it to weaken it or something along those lines. And he said, yes, but you see, you can imagine it healing, but what if you imagine it healing as a diamond instead of calcium and bone? That's silicon instead of carbon. And I thought, oh, I didn't think of that. And he said, we know, we know you guys haven't thought of it. That's why we're doing it for you. And so what I didn't really know is that while all of this stuff was being done to me inside of the prison, at the same time, they were working aboard the Ashtar Command with every area of my body that would get affected. Ribs, hands, elbow, femur, any kind of major joint, hip, things along those lines. And so they would start the healing process with the corresponding arcturine. With Andromeda, they would start the healing process, but they would use, how do I say this, different codes for the process, so that the person undergoing all of it would heal and begin to heal in a more crystalline fashion. And then after that, after I got out, was when it was explained to me, okay, this is what we need, this is kind of what we're doing. And so I was told, go back to this healer, you know it's a reptilian and you know it's a trap, but we need you to go back there. One of the main reasons they needed me to go back there is because I knew it as soon as the guy closed the door that he was going to try breaking my bones. And I was told immediately, Ashtar actually yelled before the guy started, Krista, if you feel anything sudden or strange, you need to get up and get out of there. So I said, okay, but I think we're all right. And he said, yes, I think we're okay, but just so you know. And I said, all right. So he started the trance stuff, and we had to determine if my body could handle the stress or not, because the guy kept trying to basically ruin the structural system, my bone structure, and I could feel him doing it. And after we determined aboard the craft, okay, do you think you can handle this? You can feel the guy doing this to your body. During an out-of-body experience, I could also feel in my body and was conscious inside of my body. And I said, I can handle it. Let's do what we have to do. And they explained, we need this guy doing this to you. We yes, it's hurting you, but we need him to be doing this to you because we figured out a way to accelerate the crystallization process. You see, he's breaking down your bone structure. What better way to crystallize your bone structure than to break it down and then build it up with a bunch of silicon? And I said, oh, that makes sense. Okay, guys, let's do it. And it looked like something out of like some futuristic movie where I was lying back with some kind of the contraption, and people, Arcturians with their thin arms, their delicate little arms, and fingers doing things over me and saying, they kept asking me, are you okay? We know you can feel the man. Are you okay? And I would keep saying, no, it's okay. I can do it. I can handle it. Just keep going. Just do what you got to do. And so they would keep working over my body, and they would say, you're not going to notice this right when you get up. When you get up, just get up and walk. The guy's expecting you to fall over on the ground from what he's done to your one leg. He's expecting you to have a broken bone. But just simply sit up with complete conviction, think of Jesus, and think, get up and walk. And sure enough, that's what happened. It was like adrenaline, practically, but it was more than that. It was that which is the holy, the divine itself. Now, another way to really get reptilians to back off of you is to use their own scripture, which is the Old Testament. The God of the Old Testament is not the God that we think it is. The God of the Old Testament is the fallen angel that we usually call Satan, us humans call Satan. That's who the God of the Old Testament basically is. Most of the time, who's talking is they're channeling Satan. They don't know that. You know, the people in the Old Testament, they don't know that. Satan, remember, devils can masquerade around as angels of light. Remember from the Bible? Satan is the king of all of those guys, right? He's the top. So you think he's not capable of masquerading around as an angel of light or as God? Yeah, that's what happened. So if you actually take the Old Testament and spin it back around on them and say to them, oh, look, see,